Hi there, this is Dr. Lara Ervin-Kassab. I am an assistant professor of education at San Jose State University, and this is a mindfulness in education vodcast on breathing visualizations. So it seems silly that we're actually focusing on learning how to breathe, but one of the things that happens in our very fast-paced lives is that we tend to breathe very shallowly, and especially when we're in times of stress, we breathe shallowly. This is very important to do with students, especially younger students, but it helps older students as well, because a lot of times when we're in a stress situation, the people around us tell us to, just breathe. But maybe we don't have the skills or strategies to be able to effectively breathe in a way that calms us down and brings us to present moments. So this particular exercise is intended to help students visualize and practice deeper breathing. As usual in all of these mindfulness activities, find a comfortable and relatively quiet space and get settled. So the instructions for this particular activity, you can sit or stand. You want to get into a position in which your shoulders are aligned with your hips. Your hips are aligned with your feet if you are standing. You want to have your knees slightly bent if you're standing, because we are going to do some deep breathing. This is going to feel pretty good, but if you're standing especially, you only want to do these deep breaths about 3 times in a row. You definitely don't want to do so many that you kind of get dizzy. You can do this activity with your eyes open or closed. And as we're doing this activity, pay attention to how your body and your brain feel while you are visualizing and breathing. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at how to breathe. And it's very simple. So what I'd like you to do right now is to visualize that there is a beautifully smelling flower right in front of your nose. And when we inhale, we're going to be smelling the flower. And as we exhale, we'll exhale out through our mouths, and we're going to visualize blowing out a candle. So let's all try that together. Visualize breathing in, smelling the flower, and exhale with blowing out a candle. And hopefully, as you're doing this, you'll feel, your body will lean back almost automatically to allow you to breathe more deeply. Let's take another breath in, smelling that flower, and exhale, blowing out the candle. It seems like a very simple activity, but it's a very useful one. So here are some extensions for using this particular mindfulness activity with students. You can encourage your students to think of other visualizations, personal connections that they can use to take these calming breaths. It's very calming for us to actually connect to the sense of smell. The sense of smell is actually very connected to your emotional state and memory. So imagining, instead of smelling a flower, smelling a favorite food or something that brings a happy memory to you, and just taking that deep breath in while smelling my grandmother's chicken and dumplings. So, and then exhaling to cool it down before I eat it. So those can be some connections where students can actually connect to their own experiences and lives by doing this breathing exercise. You could have a discussion about how we use these breaths and what they do for us. This is especially effective for pre-K to third or fourth or fifth grade. How to start to self-regulate. This connects to that social emotional learning skill of self-monitoring and self-regulation. And then as a teacher, in physical and virtual environments, think about adopting language of taking flower breaths or taking these smelling and blowing breaths, something like that, into how we then talk to students to calm them down when they're experiencing stress and trauma, to help them self-regulate and to provide those supports. So none of us is as strong as all of us. So if you have any resources or ideas around visualization and deep breathing exercises to help increase mindfulness in both physical and virtual spaces, please post those ideas in the comments below. Make sure that you're considering accessibility and feasibility in these suggestions. Thank you so much for joining us for this mindfulness podcast.